Hi everyone, today we'll be talking about the properties of water. Do you ever wonder how water can travel up a tree? How does the water all the way down in the roots eventually reach the leaves? Before we get into all that, let's start with the basics. This is what a water molecule looks like. As you can see, two hydrogen atoms are joined to an oxygen atom by covalent bonds. Oxygen is more electronegative than hydrogen, so the electrons of the covalent bonds tend to stay closer to oxygen than to hydrogen, which is why they are also called polar covalent bonds. So why is water considered a polar molecule? It's because the unequal sharing of electrons gives water an overall charge that is unevenly distributed. The oxygen atom has two areas of partial negative charge, while the hydrogen atoms each have a partial positive charge. Water's unique properties can be attributed to the attractions between different water molecules. The partially positive hydrogen atom of one water molecule is attracted to the partially negative oxygen atom of another. The two water molecules are joined by a hydrogen bond. Now we can go back to the topic of water traveling up a tree. Two important concepts that help to explain that phenomenon are cohesion and adhesion. Cohesion in this context is the sticking together of water molecules. When water evaporates from a leaf, hydrogen bonds allow water molecules that are about to leave the veins to tug on the water molecules below them. This upward pull continues all the way down the chain of water molecules, which is how water from the roots can eventually reach the leaves. The second concept is adhesion, which is the sticking together of water molecules and the molecules of another substance. So in this picture, cohesion is when two water molecules are attracted to each other, and adhesion is when water molecules are attracted to another substance, such as the cell wall. And the fact that water molecules can cling on to cell walls also helps to explain how water can travel up a tree. The next property we'll be talking about is surface tension, which is how difficult it is to stretch or break the surface of a liquid. This is a water strider, and they're best known for being able to walk on water. And water has a high surface tension thanks to its hydrogen bonds. You won't have to know all the physics behind this for the AP exam, but the important concept you will have to know is that the water molecules at the very surface are hydrogen bonded to each other and to the water molecules below them, but they are not bonded to the air molecules. Water's high surface tension is due to this asymmetry. Specific heat is the amount of heat that must be absorbed or released for 1 gram of a substance to change temperature by 1 degree Celsius. So you may have heard about water's high specific heat, but what does that really mean? High specific heat just means that water has the ability to resist changing its temperature, and this again is due to its hydrogen bonds. To put it simply, water can resist changing its temperature because heat is used to break all the hydrogen bonds between the water molecules before it is used to actually speed up the molecules. And since there are so many hydrogen bonds between water molecules, water can store energy from heat into those bonds, which also helps it maintain a constant temperature. When the temperature of water decreases, hydrogen bonds are formed and release energy in the form of heat. Water's high specific heat explains why you can burn your finger by touching a metal pot on the stove even though the water inside is still at room temperature. This is because water's specific heat is greater than that of metal. Water's high specific heat also stabilizes ocean temperatures, which allows marine life to thrive. Do you ever wonder how ice floats on water in the North Pole, or why the ice in your iced tea floats? The simple answer to that question is that water is less dense as a solid than as a liquid. This, again, is due to hydrogen bonds. Usually, water is like any other liquid, contracting when the temperature decreases and expanding when the temperature increases. However, when the temperature reaches 0 degrees Celsius, the water molecules are locked into a crystalline lattice. Hydrogen bonds keep the water molecules far enough away from each other that ice is less dense than water and can float. Like specific heat, the ability of ice to float on water also benefits marine life. When temperatures drop, ice forms and floats on the surface of the water, insulating the water below and allowing marine life to exist. The last property we will be talking about is the fact that water is the universal solvent. This property can be attributed to the polarity of water. Remember that the oxygen atom has areas of partial negative charge, while the hydrogen atoms have an area of partial positive charge. Let's use salt as an example. In this example, salt is the solute and water is the solvent. As you know, salt is made up of sodium and chloride ions. When salt is placed in water, those ions are attracted to the opposite charges of the water molecules. The sodium cations are attracted to the partially negative oxygen atoms, while the chloride anions are attracted to the partially positive hydrogen atoms. The salt is dissolved when the water molecules surround the individual ions and separate them from one another. So before I end this video, I also wanted to talk about acids and bases, which also have to do with hydrogen bonds. Occasionally, a hydrogen atom that is hydrogen bonded to the oxygen atom of another water molecule will shift from one molecule to the other. The hydrogen atom that is transferred leaves its electron behind and becomes a hydrogen ion with a positive charge and is also called a proton. As you can see in this picture, the water molecule that loses the proton is now a hydroxide ion with a negative charge, while the other water molecule that gains the proton is now a hydronium ion. In the AP Bio curriculum, the hydrogen ion represents the hydronium ion, even though in real life, hydrogen ions cannot exist alone in an aqueous solution and are always associated with a water molecule in the form of a hydronium ion. An acid is a substance that increases the hydrogen ion concentration of a solution. Examples of acid include lemon juice, battery acid, stomach acid, and Coca-Cola. A base is a substance that decreases the hydrogen ion concentration of a solution. Examples include household bleach and milk of magnesia. So an acidic solution is one with more hydrogen ions, while a basic solution is one with more hydroxide ions. And of course, a solution with an equal concentration of hydrogen ions and hydroxide ions is considered a neutral solution. A buffer is a substance that minimizes changes in the concentrations of hydrogen ions and hydroxide ions in a solution. Let's move on to the pH scale. The pH scale is a scale that measures how acidic or basic a solution is. As you can see, the pH scale ranges from 0 to 14, but the most important thing you'll need to know for your AP Bio exam is that a pH of 7 is considered neutral, anything below that is considered acidic, and anything above that is considered basic. So in this video, we've covered hydrogen bonds and polarity, cohesion and adhesion, surface tension, high specific heat, how ice floats, water as a universal solvent, and acids and bases.